I started off. My mother was an alcoholic, drug addict. She was a prostitute as well, and I was taken from her care at 6 years old. I'm not sure of the stuff I may have experienced between, no, sorry, 5 years old. So I'm not sure of the stuff I may have experienced between five and then when I was taken in by my nan. So luckily I was taken, she took full custody of me and my sister at the time. And yeah, I was taken in by my nan from the age of 7. So between 5 and 7, I have no real recollection of where I may have been or where I might have been placed or what family I might have been with. But there's a strong sense of turmoil. Does that make sense? So I don't have a real, I've not got a vision of where I was or who I was with, but I've got a strong sense of yeah, it was quite erratic and the environment was quite loud is all I can really, take from that time. So then I went to live with my nan when I was 7 years old, me and my sister. And the memories I have of that time with my nan are absolutely wonderful. She provided an absolutely beautiful life for myself and my sister. And I couldn't have, in terms of being in a care placement, I couldn't have asked for a better care placement than that. Do you know what I mean? And I know not everybody gets to experience, that in essence, to be fair. So I was very lucky in that sense that not only was she a family member, but a family member that cared about me very deeply, cared about my sister very deeply, and wanted nothing more but for us to succeed and to provide a good life for us. However, I always remember really missing my mum, really wanting to know where she was and if she was okay. And at the time, because of the lifestyle that she was living, she had access to myself and my sister. So she would come and visit on the weekends, which then later on turned into like going to see her for weekend visits and stuff like that. But I always remember really, really, really missing her and always wanting to know if she was okay. And we would always get lots of stories as to why she couldn't make it, or on that particular weekend why she might have been ill or whatever. And I remember being very, very disappointed, obviously, and always wanting to know that she was safe. I think was a big thing for me at that age. And I suppose for a boy of 7 years old, I don't think you should be worried about if your parents safe. Do you know what I mean? Your parents' safety and whether or not they are okay. And I was very aware that she was battling with addiction. Very aware at that age that she was battling with addiction. So even on the visits and stuff like that, she would talk to me about her progress and how she was doing and how she was progressing. And how she was trying to, stay clean, and it was all based around, I'm going to get you back one day. One day, you're going to come back and you're going to live with me, and it's going to be okay. And I believed in her, and I wouldn't want nothing more but for that to take place and for us to be back together. And I know my sister was very much of the same mindset, although she was comfortable with my nan and in the placement because of the environment that was created. She would have followed me to the ends of the earth. Do you know what I mean? And as a family, we wanted to be back together. So there's a few instances really that stick out to me, I suppose, as a young boy at that stage. And I wasn't aware of any father at all. He wasn't kind of really spoken about, or it wasn't really a subject that was broached, to be fair. The focus really was on mum and mum being okay and getting back to health so she could, we could live with her again. And there's a couple of instances that stick out, which was one instance that I went to see her in rehab. So she was having a stay in a psychiatric rehabilitation centre. So it was From what I know now, it was trying to help her recover from both the addiction and some mental health issues. She does suffer with bipolar, amongst other things. I do believe, I couldn't tell you the full medical history, but there is a lot of mental health diagnoses taking place at that time, and she's receiving on-site treatment. So I remember going for this visit and her being very optimistic, us walking around this garden, we're holding hands, and she's telling me how well she's doing and how great she's coming along, and she's set to, be home soon and whatever else. And the biggest memory that sticks out is, when we're leaving, or we've had our day and we've had our time together and we've sat down and we've, bonded a little, and then as I'm leaving, we're in the car park and I'm kind of like at the back of the window, and I remember just waving her off at the back of the window, and I just remember the sadness, the true sadness on her face, and just the hurt. And as a young boy, it was hard to comprehend and really, I suppose, process at the time. But I remember coming away with just like the feeling of I want nothing more but to save this woman, and I suppose that's a lot for a boy of that age to take on. So fast forward a little bit, and I'm coming up to my 11th birthday, and mum's clean, she's on her feet, and she's gone through the necessary court proceedings, she's gone through the necessary social worker visits and XYZ, and it's been deemed that she's fit to take care of my sister and myself again. So on my 11th birthday, I always say that my birthday is a special day for me, and it does have a special energy, only because it seems to be that in life in general, lots of significant things have happened on that very day. So this was probably the first one in memory. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, on that day, the first ever day, we went back to go and live with mum, and I'll never ever forget it. We were in a little flat in Cheltenham, and we've got there, and she's got lunch ready. Do you know what I mean? And the house is looking great, and all the flat's looking great, and yada yada yada, and there's kids playing across the street, and I'm like, Mum, can I go and play football? Do you know what I mean? So I go and play football with the boys, and some of those people that I met on that very day are still my friends to this day. Do you know what I mean? And it looked like things were going to be really great. It looked like things were going to be, everything that we'd hoped for and everything that we'd worked towards. And for a while it was, she did good. She kept herself on the straight and narrow for a long time, and she did really well. But there were moments where, she kind of fell off the wagon, and what I found in that stage of life, so I'm, 11, 12, 13 years old, and I've had a younger brother now. She's had another child, so she's had my younger brother now, which is, I think, was one of the big reasons why she was able to take custody of us again, because she kind of showed through him that she was capable to parent again. So I've got a younger brother and a younger sister, and I'm 11, 12, 13 years old, and I find myself kind of picking up the pieces sometimes of the parenting, where she did take her slips and her dives and stuff like that. And progressively, as I got older, it just kind of got progressively worse, and the slips came a little bit more of a fall, and the fall turned into a bit more of a lay down, and then the lay down turned into, I just really don't want to get up, and it was hard to watch. It was hard to watch because I always carried that feeling of, I want to save this woman. So I spent no less than, a decade of my life, from, my teenage years, from probably about, longer than a decade, probably from about the age of 13 or 14, I spent looking after my younger brother, looking out for the household, trying to take that slack as a parent almost. Obviously struggling at school, couldn't really focus there, do you know what I mean? Because so much was going on. taken to, just hanging on the road, just hanging on the roadside. Just like, I don't want to go home. Do you know what I mean? It's too much stress, too much trouble at home. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just gonna hang out here. You know, inherently you get into a lot of trouble as a young boy hanging on the street. You know, I'm selling drugs now. You know, I'm selling weed now because, you know, it's not really a lot of money in the house. You know what I'm saying to you? I'm trying my best to provide. I'm only young. I'm not old enough to get a job. So I kind of got to start looking at those kind of options. Well, so I felt. And you looked around. I remember looking around myself at that age, and I just felt like I had so limited options and choices. You know, I felt like I was closed in. I felt like I was really boxed in. The school system was failing me, I suppose, just simply because they labelled me, you know what I mean, as a bad youth, you know what I mean, troublesome, hard to reach, disengaged, all these buzzwords they like to use around you, you know, rather than just taking the time to find out what is up. The structure of school is hard to deal with. And yeah, it was safe to say I was well and truly lost, in the sense that I didn't know where I wanted to go, what I wanted to be. I didn't see any way out of all of this, you know. I was a good football player, as most light-skinned youths my age was, do you know what I'm saying to you? And you know, at first that seemed like a viable option, you know, a way out, I suppose. And it's something that I did follow. Broke my knee, that old chestnut, you know what I mean? I had an injury, mashed up my cartilages, whatever. So that one was out the window, you know. And all of a sudden, I found myself just kind of gravitating more and more towards just doing nothing, hanging around, just smoking, do you know what I mean? Drinking, you know. I didn't have much in my life, do you know what I'm saying to you? At home was, do you know what I mean? Was not a lot going on. And then, yeah, I was, you know, trying to get to a space, I suppose, where I had a little bit of sanity for myself, but I felt like I was looking after everyone was really key for me at that time. But dealing with mum at that time was probably the biggest challenge, you know. And I found myself kind of being the sole carer for my younger brother, do you know what I mean, in that function, do you know what I mean? So getting him ready for school, feeding him, clothing him, taking him to school, picking him up from school, do you know what I'm saying? Like that real parent function took place for me. You know, the cooking, the cleaning, the household stuff, all of that, I had to deal with that because she was just incapacitated for weeks on end, do you know what I'm saying? She couldn't do anything, couldn't string a sentence together. You know what I mean? But then I'd find myself rendering care to her as well. Do you know what I'm saying to you? Because she was in real bad states sometimes. Real bad states. I'd come home from, you know, a night out or whatever. Do you know what I mean? And literally, I put my key in the door and I would never know what to expect. Do you know what I'm saying to you? Like, I could either be met with, you know, hell and thunder. You know what I mean? Or you know, this somber, you know, quietness that was almost deafening. Do you know what I'm saying to you? And you know, you never know, she'd be passed out on the floor in the hallway or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So I found myself doing things that I suppose a young man just would never see themselves doing for their mother. Do you know what I mean? Washing her, bathing her, feeding, trying to get her to eat something. Do you know what I mean? And cleaning her room for her because it was just in an absolute, you know, mess. And when I say mess, I use that word really, you know, really nicely, to be fair. That's a very nice word to use for what was in that room. Do you know what I mean? We're talking, you know, the room of an alcoholic that's been binging for 3 weeks, you know. It's not a pretty sight. Do you know what I'm saying to you? And she's still running tricks, and do you know what I mean, and stuff like that. Like I remember having to go out, like, you know, because there's a knock at the door and there's a trick at the door. Do you know what I'm saying? And I got to go out, bro. Do you know what I mean? And like, we were just like wandering the streets, like me and my little brother just wandering the streets, like trying to kill, you know, an hour or whatever it is, the time that he's bought. Do you know what I mean? And it was a heavy load to carry. It was a heavy load to bear for a teenage boy trying to get through school. It was a heavy load to bear. So it's fair to say I had a lot of stuff to say. You know, I had a lot of pent up emotions, and the way I quickly took to dealing with that was through writing music. You know, and you know, my first raps would just make you cry, like just horrendous. Do you know what I'm saying to you? Like painful stuff, real painful stuff. Do you know what I mean? And it was my only really real outlet at the time. Do you know what I mean? Just sit in my room, bro, and just rap. It's not so much. I mean, you know what I mean? Can't see, just you know, immersing myself in that art form, and it helped. It did. It well and truly helped. It really did. Got me through a lot of tough times, and it made me make a lot of promises to myself. Because you have this conversation with yourself through rhyming. You know, it's almost like affirmation. You know, where you say it, and if you say it loud enough, you believe that. Do you know what I'm saying to you? Start to set goals and stuff I wanted to do in my life. Do you know what I mean? And stuff I wanted to see, and you know, that journey alone just saved my sanity. You know, being able to express these thoughts and feelings in what I was very quickly told was such a dynamic way. Do you know what I mean? And a way that really did resonate with people around me. You know, my you know, ability within writing rhymes seemed to be something that people really appreciated, and that in turn gave me an inspiration to just want to do more and express more, and do you know what I mean? And it became a synergy. But within that, you know, I'm still dealing with a hell of a lot. So you know, I'm committing petty crimes. Do you know what I mean? Getting arrested, going to court. Do you know what I mean? I'm trying to find a way in life, but I suppose most of the examples I could look upon didn't show me that there were, you know, a multitude of ways of getting to what we wanted to get to. And at the time, really, all I was trying to get to was food and heat, and do you know what I'm saying to you? The simple necessities, the bare necessities. But you know, unless I was selling or I was, you know, doing certain things, it didn't seem as if I was able to obtain certain, do you know what I mean, and whatever else. So my perspective was limited, I suppose. Do you know what I mean? My environment limited my perspective on what I was able to achieve, I suppose. So I saw music as really that one way. Do you know what I mean? Like, if there's any way that I can just get out of this and just, you know, be rich or whatever, you know that youth of that age dreams of that. You know, have a car, and you know, a house, you know. I was like, music can do it. You know, but I desperately wanted to save mum. You know, that was my you know, part of the reason why I wanted to be rich or have money or you know, part of it was like, yeah, I sort mum out, she'll be fine. Do you know what I mean? And all of these thoughts, feelings, and emotions, bro. And yeah, so I'm at 16 now, you know, 17, yeah, 16, I'm about to leave school. I'm really not sure what my options are. So, you know, I go college because everyone tells me I've got to do something with my life, as they do. Do you know what I mean? And they're like, get a trade, which everyone does tell you, get a trade, especially when I was growing up. And it's, you know, they're definitely, for a lot of people, that is the way, and that has worked for them. But I just couldn't get into any of that. Do you know what I'm saying to you? Creativity was my only real, you know, vessel. And I felt anything I was doing was just kind of, I'm just doing it because I'm supposed to do this kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? So I went college, didn't really make it through college. You know, but as soon as I could get out to work, I did, because I felt it was important for me to earn money because of our situation. So, you know, I spent 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, you know, just working, and my wage was for the household. Do you know what I'm saying? And it was deep. You know, some of her behaviour was deep. You know, well, I say deep, again, I use that word and that's a polite word to use. Some of her behaviour was atrocious, in the sense that I would, you know, get my room raided at 5 o'clock in the morning real quick because, you know, buzzes are coming down and she wants me to go to the shop to get more wine or whatever it may be, her fix of the day is, do you get what I'm saying to you? And that, you know, where's the money and stuff like that, do you get what I'm saying to you? And it was difficult to navigate, very, very difficult to navigate, do you know what I mean? I gave as good as I got, you know, she shouted, I shouted, we screamed, you know, it was a toxic environment, a real toxic environment for my little brother especially. You know, it must have been hard because he was a baby, he was a small boy, do you know what I mean? Just hearing his mum and his brother just like at each other's throats, do you know what I'm saying? And like, yeah man, there's a lot of turmoil, a lot of turbulence, do you know what I mean? A lot of turbulence. So you know, I'm a musician now, I'm 17, I just turned 17, and my cousin takes me in, my cousin Shortston, love him for life, takes me in, and he's already a well-established drum and bass MC. He takes me under his wing and he's like, look, I'm gonna come on, I'm gonna show you the game. I was already a drum and bass MC, I was already dabbling in the art form, already had bars, whatever, do you know what I mean? Because like I said, I was already writing, and drum and bass was very popular at the time, especially in my school. We used to go raving, and Skibble was probably one of the main reasons why I wanted to like dabble in that art form, do you know what I mean? Seeing him perform live just, yeah, made me want to do it. You know, that was my calling as far as I'm concerned. So anyway, I'm already a drum bass MC. Shortson's like, yeah, you know, come with me, I'm gonna take you under my wing. So at 17 years old, I become, you know, a professional drum and bass MC. Like, I'm on stages, like big stages, in front of thousands of people. I'm getting paid. You know, we're going all across the world. We're going, you know, Barcelona, Amsterdam, Switzerland, Germany. We're just going all these countries all of a sudden. You know, I'm 17, 18, 19, do you know what I mean? I bought myself a car and do you know what I mean? I'm doing okay. And again, it just reaffirmed to me that music is, this is how I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? This is how I'm gonna make it out. You know? Yeah, it was amazing because the first time I ever got on an aeroplane. You know what I mean? I'm going out to do a drum and bass rave, bruv. And I'm like, bro, I've never even been out the country. I've never even been out the ends, bruv. Do you know what I'm saying to you? And I get on a plane to go and perform, like, crazy, massive eye-opener. So my perspective on life is growing now. You know, I'm starting to realize, oh, wow, there's more to the world. Do you know what I mean? And I'm seeing it for myself and I'm touching it for myself. So I'm inspired. Music is it. I've got the bug. Do you know what I'm saying? And yeah, I had a great run in drum and bass. I had a great music career in drum and bass. I really did. But for me, the transition into hip hop was inevitable, just simply because of the way I express and what I express. I found myself spitting certain lyrics in drum and bass environments, and you know, the audience going, "Whoa!" and I'm like, no, that's not the reaction I was hoping for from this particular set of lyrics. Do you get what I'm saying to you? Because at that time, lyrics have moved on, you know, leaps and bounds in the art form since then. Do you know what I mean? But at that time, it wasn't really, you know, a deep, that you couldn't get deep on people like in ways. You know what I mean? Like, and spit some truth from your heart and all that other stuff. And that's kind of what I wanted to do. That's the angle I wanted to go in. That's the direction I wanted to take. So the transformation into a hip hop artist came quite organically, you know, just where I found myself, you know, headed towards writing more and more raps, less and less drum and bass bars, you know what I mean? More and more raps, less and less drum and bass bars, and just, you know, starting to get little shows, starting to get little hip hop shows and stuff. So I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? And drum and bass shows are getting less and less, and more hip hop shows, you know what I mean? So the gravitation was really, really organic. And yeah, in my early stages of my hip hop career, I think it's safe to say I had a decent kind of entry. You know, my first album, The Oracle, released in 2009. I feel like it had an influence on the music of the time, of the artist of the time. You know, it was a voice of the time. Do you know what I'm saying? And I felt that it resonated with my peer group, you know, strongly. I could feel that it resonated with them really strongly. I could feel that, you know, the stuff I said on that album had connected with where we were in life as a human race. You know what I'm saying? And it felt good. It felt great to arrive. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, you know, I went on to do, I suppose lots of what I'd say, lots of great things, and I've met lots of great people I've worked with, a plethora of artists, you know, some big, some, you know, not so big, but all of them are amazing people, and the experiences I've had are amazing. And slowly what I've realized from being a musician and having those experiences, what it is that this life is solely about your pursuit of happiness, and where you are happiest is where you should go, and that passion of yours is what you should follow. And we must find purpose. Without music as a purpose, everything I've just described and explained, I would never have been able to make it through to this point in life without it. And that's because it's my purpose, not just because of its music and its therapy and I get to write my feelings. No, it's my purpose to share inspiration, motivation, to share words that resonate with people and that move people emotionally is my calling in life. It has been since I was little. I've affected people with words to no end, you know, and it is my call. And I know that, I realized that, and I realized it early, and I was lucky to realize it early. But without purpose, I would have never have been able to pull myself through all of that. And now, you know, having had the music career that I've had and living the life that I've had, you know, I've gone and I've qualified myself in many different areas. You know, I've started my own business. I have my own business now. But further to that, I've worked for many businesses where I've built a professional acronym, an understanding of business and how to operate in that world, in the employment world, and speak properly, and you know what I mean, and all this other stuff. And I think it's important for us as young people that start off where we start, people that start where we start in life. I think it's important for us to understand that if we see better for ourselves, then quite simply it will be better. At some given point in time, it will come. But you just need to see it and believe that it is there for you and that you want it enough to do the work for it. Yeah. I haven't got where I am today by sitting around, you know, being lazy. You know what I mean? I've worked very hard. You know, I haven't been signed by a major record label and they gave me millions of pounds, so all of a sudden I could buy a house, and you know what I mean? I haven't had that. I've had to work really hard for where I am, to get to where I am, and I've had help. I've had some blessings of people come into my life, do you know what I mean? And show me and help me grow and help me understand life more and deal with my trauma. Because that's also really important. Understanding that we go through a lot, we've been through a lot, and it has its effects on you. But we don't wear it like an old coat. You know, we shed that. We leave that baggage where it lies, you know. And if we can learn to do that, then we can achieve absolutely anything and anything that we want to. And that, I swear to you, I wouldn't say it in this way with this level of passion if I wasn't a testament to it. I'm currently sitting in a home that, you know, my family and I live at, that is a very decent home, that is on a decent street, you know, and we live a comfortable lifestyle. And it's not through, you know, any amazing science apart from hard work and believing in yourself and knowing that you can get there if you put the work in, you know. And the life I have now, if I could go back and tell that little boy, this is going to make me all teary. If I could go back and tell that little boy it's going to be okay, and that he's going to make it, and when he sat there in so much pain, if I could go back and tell him that, boy, listen to me, you just keep your head high and you just keep your chest to the sky, you just keep on going, boy, because it's going to come. If he could see this, these are his tears. These are his tears. If he could see, if he could know then what I know now,